I know some people have covered this, and I have a slightly different angle on this story. And I just want to give y'all something to think about here. Now, everybody's talking about that this Brexit, this UK um, breaking off from the European Union, has already cost the world's richest people, including George Soros, maybe the most evil man on the planet, and Bill Gates, who's probably right up there, and some other people. They lost $127 billion overnight. Now, there's just a few other things that have been going on that have been lining up with this that are kind of making me nervous, and I think maybe everybody should be a little nervous. And I am starting to become genuinely concerned that there is, in fact, there is a engineered, timed economic crash planned for the United States of America. Now, I know there's been talks about this before. I haven't really delved into it at all. I know something's been up. I think we all know that we went way past the amount of debt that we can ever pay back quite some time ago. But I find this interesting for quite a few reasons. To me, this sort of started with the whole thing with Iran, right? One of our soldiers or our sailors got captured over there. And then it was like the very next day, we actually gave Iran more than what the number you see right there. We actually gave them somewhere, by giving them actual money and unfreezing their assets, we actually gave them between 150 and 200 billion dollars. Thanks for capturing our soldiers. Here's a crap ton of money. Oh, and interesting side note, I was going to do a story on this, but I liked it to pass. But guess what? Those sailors who got captured are now facing court-martial. Isn't that wonderful? So, now, yes, the world's richest people, 400 richest people, lose $127 billion. But the other thing they're talking about on the news here is how pretty much everybody in America seemed to be banking on the fact that UK was not going to leave the European Union. Now somehow they managed to work their little magic and keep all the stocks looking shiny and pretty. But I've heard story after story after story after story from the mainstream media talking about how everybody in America gambled all this money on the UK staying, and they left, and they lost a ton of money too. And imagine a bunch of those people that are on this list aren't part of that story. If you go over here, hold on. Now, we all know what a lot of people have been saying about this climate change. Now, it may be real and it may be engineered, but it's fake. It's completely and totally fake, and it's a smokescreen for a transfer of wealth. People have been talking about this for several years now. So we got the transfer of wealth with this climate change deal, right? We got the transfer of wealth with this thing with Iran. We got the transfer of wealth with this thing with Britain. or with England, UK, I don't want to misspoke and say the wrong thing, but you get my point. Now, because England's one of our good buddies, right? Well, look, now Canada's suing us, right? Canada formally seeking NAFTA damages and the Keystone XL rejection. And they're saying because, I'll leave a link to the story, but because President Obama rejected the Keystone Pipeline, they want $15 billion in damages to be settled in their little tribunal court or whatever. Because the Keystone, or the NAFTA, is basically the precursor to this TPP thing, this Trans-Pacific Partnership, which makes this thing look like child's play. You thought this was a bad deal. Man, oh man. So it seems everywhere we turn, we're giving away billions and billions and billions and billions, and we're transferring wealth to people. And let's keep in mind about this 127 billion, right? Because what the article states there, and it's just something to think about. Look, I'm not an economics major, y'all, so y'all gotta bear with me with some of this. But my general line of thinking goes, hey, if somebody lost $127 billion, somebody else must have made $127 billion. Now I understand the devaluation of stocks and stuff like that all play a part in all this thing, but it just makes sense to me if one person's losing money, somebody's getting money. It's all just getting moved around. Now, I don't know if this is just a mass cover-up for this mass amount of money we've been spending on these plans to start a civil war here so they can disarm Americans, or if mass amounts we've been money setting up FEMA camps and underground cities from devastation from Planet X. There's a lot of possibility of things that can be going on, and maybe all the things actually going on at the same time. The one thing in conjunction with this that makes me slightly concerned, and I just think nothing to press the panic button on yet, but something to pay attention to, because we've all seen what happened in Venezuela, all right? People hunting squirrels and stuff trying to survive, and it's just getting worse by the day. I've seen quite a few videos lately where there's this lady, I don't remember her name, she's done a lot of really deep, good investigative report on this whole economic thing. Apparently she's been on InfoWars a lot, and she keeps saying, look, this collapse is being, it's going to happen. And she says what's going to happen is one day on a Friday you're going to see some credit card glitches, and a bunch of people aren't going to be able to use their credit card, and they'll be like, oh, it'll be fine on Monday. And she kept saying stuff like, well, as soon as it happens, you have 72 hours, and then the whole system is toast. We're Venezuela, basically. And I've just noticed a lot of companies getting hacked lately. A lot of credit cards getting hacked. People's food stamp cards aren't working, right? The big Costco credit card thing wasn't working. Been a lot of bugs and a lot of stuff with credit cards not working going on recently, and it's something to pay attention to. It's very possible that these could be test runs for just knocking out the whole system, or just slowly bracing people for the inevitable engineered collapse, or slowly bracing people for the collapse that they just can't do anything about anymore, so they're just putting it off as long as they can and getting prepared. I don't know. You know, there's too many variables here to really make an educated guess, because they have so much stuff going on. It's hard to keep your finger on what's really the truth and what's really a bunch of psyop and misinformation fed to you by your liberal crisis actors of America. So that's just something to think about. You know, we're giving Iran money. We're losing money because this thing in England. Now we're going to be losing money to Canada. You know, something's up. Something's up, and it's just something, little patterns that I'm starting to notice here with this thing, how we just keep giving more and more and more money away to people, and no one seems to notice. But trust me, if I had like 5, 6, 7, 8 times of $127 billion, I'm pretty damn sure I'd notice. Anyways, that's just my thoughts about this transfer of wealth that's been going on with all these other major events that maybe somebody, I don't know how many people have put too much scrutiny into, but I definitely think it's something to give some thought and to pay attention to. Y'all take care. I'll talk to y'all again soon.